With Liquor Barn, you can shop your favorite bourbon, that perfect bottle of wine, or discover something new. To place an order for pickup or delivery, download the Liquor Barn app, visit liquorbarn.com, or call your nearest Liquor Barn location. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our email list for all the latest news on products, promotions, and events. Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life. Cheers!
Bourbon Life listeners, it's time we all get a little toasted. With Penelope Bourbon's Toasted series, of course. This unique blend is a testament to the power of experimentation. After full maturation in a charred new American oak barrel, their bourbon is finished in a secondhand freshly toasted barrel to create a delicious variety of chars and toasts with deep vanilla and caramel notes. No matter your preference, there's a toasted blend for you. Start your one-of-a-kind experience at penelopebourbon.com.
Limestone Farms bourbons are like a secret portal to a world of rich flavors where high proof meets smooth satisfaction. Every barrel is meticulously crafted and blended with a specific message in mind. Experience clean delineated flavor profiles that will have you engaged from the first sip to the final drop, making your palate beg for just one more taste. Limestone Farms, bringing heritage home.
Welcome to the Bourbon Life Podcast, your source for all things bourbon. Join your hosts, Mark and Matt, as they drink and review bourbons, share news about upcoming events, interview the who's who in the bourbon world, and, most importantly, bring you along for the fun of living the bourbon life. Now, here's your hosts, Mark and Matt.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. This is our holiday spectacular, and we have the crew here tonight. Well, most of the crew, 80% of the crew. We cannot seem to get the entire crew together, but we're here, and our fifth member is with us in spirit, I'm sure. Stacey, you suck. But regardless, we've got Philip here.
Hey, hey.
We've got Matt.
I don't think I've missed one of these yet. I've not missed a crew episode yet.
That's awesome, Matt. I appreciate that, man. It'd be kind of awkward.
If the Iron Man doesn't show up, there's a problem.
There's a problem.
I just can't take the ridicule. Because I know
because your parents are going to listen and they'll hear all the bad things we say about you.
And they'll be like, Matt, you didn't answer our phone calls and you weren't podcasting?
Yeah.
My parents know enough.
And we got Chad. Chad, what's up, man?
Hey.
Welcome back, Chad.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
right. Welcome back,
Happy
Chad.
to be here. You know, Stacey's here in her Christmas spirit, being the Scrooge that she is.
Oh.
And,
That's funny. You see, I was thinking something along the lines of Scrooge, the spirit of...
She's going to roll up with an RV.
Crew episodes past. Yeah.
So, yeah, happy to be back.
Yeah.
I've not been on one. Was I?
You missed the Thanksgiving.
Missed Thanksgiving. Was I on the one before that?
I thought so. He was.
Philip was.
Yeah,
you
Philip
were.
was.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So you and Stacey were here.
It's odd. I can't remember if you or me were here.
Yeah. But hey, the guys are here, so it's the Bourbon Life Crew guys.
The OG crew.
The OG, that's right. Stacey, that late edition. Of course, it's been, 3 years to 2 years?
Oh, it's been longer than probably 3 years.
I think 3
We've
years.
been doing crew episodes for like almost 4, 3 and a half.
Isn't that
We did
crazy?
the pandemic couch episodes.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah.
we started.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Start on the black leather couch and then.
Yeah. Well, here's to the crew episodes. Woo-hoo.
Right.
So this episode.
Crew episode. That's so. This is like what where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
That's
especially
right.
on this one.
Exactly right. It doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
Chad comes with topics. And then we just kind of randomly discuss things.
But this is an exciting. So
it is. Matt's like,
yeah. I'll go. First off,
we recorded last night. And I think Matt was on coke or something, dude. So now he's back on it again tonight. He's gung ho, dude.
I was a little bit in the sauce last night.
I could tell.
Heather was pouring a pretty strong cocktail.
Yeah, that show's coming out. Well, obviously that'll be 2 weeks ago once this comes out.
Yeah, so it already came out.
It already came out with Heather Wibbles, but she made some great cocktails. And yes, I could tell Matt was just, his cheeks were getting red. He was super excited, man. So
Miss Bourbon Life poured some heavy pours tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
Did she really?
But I'm excited for this one. We are the Bourbon Life Podcast presented by Liquor Barn.
Thank you,
we thank
Matt.
their support. support of all our sponsors to get us this far as we've come. But this is a great show. This is our holiday extravaganza, and this is the 12 blind challenge. So last year it was a 15 blind challenge.
But Stacey's gone, so
we are down to 12. So what we are doing on this episode, we have each brought 3 bottles with us, making 12 bottles total. Mrs. Bourbon Life blindly poured these up, and we have at random selected 1 glass each.
Yep.
And we will be trying to guess.
I'm going to turn this around so people can see
what
the collection
we
of bottles
have in our
down there on the
glass
table.
based on what has been poured up. And our chances are going to get better throughout the episode because between each round, we will find out just how wrong we are.
And we're not all drinking the same thing either.
Yes, that is correct. So let's just run through the lineup real quick and then we'll get right into it. We have Old Granddad 16, a 1986 Old Forester, Jim Beam 7-year from 1983, so a couple dusties right there. We have a benchmark single barrel. KO Distilling out of Virginia has a rye whiskey bottled in bond, or at least 50% that we have with us. I don't know if it's technically bottled in bond, but it was a single barrel pick from a ABC store in Virginia.
Splitting hairs.
We have the Balvenie Double Oaked, or Oak Cask, I think it is. James E. Pepper 15-year, one of the originals coming out of there. Smoke Wagon, the Halloween bottle in this case, but this is their straight bourbon whiskey. Old Medley 12 years at a single barrel chat.
I believe that is a store pick.
All right.
But the sticker's gone.
Store pick single barrel right there. But if it wasn't, the Buffalo Trace is a single barrel that we have. Then courtesy and compliments of Cody Giles at James E. Pepper, we're going back there again for the sherry finished rye whiskey, one of the original ones. We have a Blanton straight from the barrel. And finally, we have the Bell Mead Honey, the original high proof, first honey flavored honey cask whiskey that I think anybody can think of that came out, right?
Well, not flavored, but
finished in that honey cask. Yeah. So, but that's the line. That is the lineup. So technically there are 13 there. I think only 12 were poured, or do we have, how many? 13. Yep. Only 12 were poured. So
because our pourer didn't understand the instructions.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Anyway,
all right, thanks, Matt. And to Mark with the news. So we're going to get rolling here. So this is a weird thing. So I don't know. Does it matter who goes first? Does it matter what we taste? Does any of that matter?
I don't remember how we just kind of threw it. Matt, what do you...
let's all go through. We'll talk the nose on ours.
Let's talk nose.
We'll do the chit chatter. We'll talk palate finish.
Because we're tasting more than one thing this round. So that's what I'm saying is...
No, we'll each got 3 pours. We'll just each talk about what we have. We'll each talk about our own. We're only doing 1 per round. We're not doing 3 pours every round.
Well, then why were you talking about having Mrs. Bourbon Life come down and re-pour again?
No report, just reveal.
Tell us.
The reveal.
Yeah, so at the end of this round, we will all guess what we think we have, and to start the cliffhanger
next 12 in the first round, dude.
And then we shuffle them up,
Where the
and
hell
we drink
were
them
you
all.
last year?
I got to drive back.
That's probably because we drank 15 last year.
Wow. Okay.
We need a rule. We need like a fucking poster somewhere that says these are the rules.
I'm going to put rules up here, but no, we're gonna each share the nose on this first selection that we made. So Matt, I'll start with you like I normally do. What do you pick up on the nose on yours?
The nose on mine, first off, color, very nice, kind of auburn color. Nose on it is a little fruity almost. I'm picking up like kind of finished sherry. No, I'm saying sherry because I know there's some sherry, but it kind of has like a dessert wine type nose to it.
Gotcha.
Little creamy, fruity on mine. Not very hot. I don't pick up really any astringency or alcohol in it. Very nice nose. I like it.
Nice. Chad, what about you, man? What do you get on yours?
So mine, I get, and this has been one of my favorite notes lately, just because I think it makes sense. But on the nose, a lot of like a vintage book, like an old paperback book. It's got like that earthy, like just, I don't know, pressed wood on the nose. Super sweet, a lot of caramel, toffee, butterscotch, very classic bourbon notes. I'm assuming it's a low proof, which is, I brought, only low proof stuff to kind of, because I figured you would be bringing like nothing but high proof stuff.
Yes,
so, which you did.
Yes.
But mine's very soft. I don't know if I'm ready to put anything on the mark yet until I go in for a couple tastes, but I have a good idea.
All right. Philip, what about you, man?
So mine's got like a very tobacco forward.
Okay.
A little bit of fruit and maybe just a light hint of honey. I don't think it's like, I know one of them's like the Bell Mead honey. I don't think it's a honey bourbon or anything like that, but it does have a nice hint of honey.
Mine's got like some light fruitiness to it. It's kind of because that the problem is I looked at this and I'm like, I think I know what that is just based off the look of it.
Well, that's the thing is I brought 2 that look like that. Actually, I got 3 that it could possibly be. Because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, because I was like, so what I was initially thinking, this doesn't match what I would expect. I mean, of course, the ones you brought were older stuff, right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, so it kind of threw me because I'm thinking I should not be picking up these notes if it is what I think. So now I'm all confused, man, because I'm getting like this very light fruitiness on it.
Yeah, I came with a theme. So my theme is it dusty or is it not? Because they're all things that have been opened for several years.
Is it crop dusty or is it not?
That's right, yeah. I mean, like...
Yeah.
You just let one rip, try to catch it.
Yeah, there you go. Fruity, a little oaky. Almost makes you think it's almost a little bit older because there's some oak coming through on that as well. But very fruit forward, very light fruit forward, orchard fruit type of thing. And almost floral as well, which it's kind of throwing me off here, dude. So I'm gonna have to sip on this and see, and look at our list just to figure it out. But anyway, all right. I'm not going to take a guess at this point. There's no way that I'm ready for that. So it's not going to happen. So guys, let's talk about some news topics. That'd be fun. What do you got, Chad? Our news guy.
Marcus, have you ever wanted to thank you, Mark, for throwing it to me over here? It's nice weather today. It was a high like 52 degrees outside, but we're here to talk about bourbon.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful day. I don't know. I just wanted to, I guess, be a news anchor. I've always wondered what Matt Groves, how he felt, just because.
Oh, that's right.
Talking
From
to
Augusta,
him. Yeah. We never went back and pulled up some stuff. But Mark, have you ever wanted to start? This sounds like an infomercial. Marcus, have you ever wanted to start your own bourbon brand?
I have. I've thought about that, but then the work that goes into it, I'm just not prepared to do that. So,
well, boy, do I have a thing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more, Chad.
So yeah, if you want to go into debt but not have to go into debt, like financially, but liquid asset wise, you can now do so with the Whiskey House.
That's exactly right.
And it's quite a unique thing because this is what they used to do back in the day. A lot of places used to take loans out against their barrels, or they would contract and say, I don't have money to pay you for this, but I'll give you back like 30% of all my earnings off of what I produce. And the lien is based on your barrels. And now we've come full circle, which I don't know if that worked out too well in the old days or not. I feel like we lost a lot of brands to that. But, but yeah, I mean, this is now, I don't have you had the full press release, but.
I did. I got the full press release.
I just seen the tidbits or the snippets of it. But Whiskey House is doing just that to, if you want to start your own brand, if you need consulting experience, if you need financial advice or guidance, they are doing the whole damn thing.
Yeah, this says that you can get loans. They're working with Whiskey Capital, which apparently is a financing group that provides targeted expertise and capital to craft and mid-sized American whiskey brands. Founded in 2018, located in the heart of bourbon country. The loan amounts, it says, are from $1 million to $30 million. So they're talking some pretty sizable investments there, which I thought was pretty impressive. It also says you can defer a portion of your interest cost during the initial years. So rather than having to, pay while you're waiting for your barrels to age, sounds like you can defer interest. Of course, that's going to, be more money down the road.
Rack up.
I can't think of like too many situations where deferring interest equals good idea.
No, I get it. But
I mean, if you are someone if you've got money up front and you would rather spend that on inventory than, and you're like, because they start accruing interest day one, that goes into the barrel. And if you're going to let stuff age for at least 4 years, instead of paying interest on that, but you've got cash in hand, maybe if you want to let it wait till that 4-year mark, that way you can already replenish your money from the product you're producing. So it's not that long of a wait. But you would have to, you'd still have to have a lot of money to be able to do it. And at that point, it's like, should you really?
I don't know.
I don't have a lot of money, so I don't know what those people do.
I don't either. But you can look at people that put together an investment group. So people like 10-Day Bourbon. Doctors obviously they probably do have a little bit more money and they put it together, but they did pretty much everything themselves to try to figure all that out. So I think in a situation like that, if you're able to pool some investors or friends or whatever, people that do have some money, and you can pull enough together, so you're not having to front all that capital, and you can use it to build your brand or build, whatever else you need to do.
Which $1 million really, I mean, I've been to Bardstown Bourbon Company, and I've sat in on 2 consultations where you are going to them and approaching them and saying, hey, I want to start a brand. How much money do I have to spend on the whiskey up front? And and Danny is not even the guy who does that portion of the business, but he will just pretty much tell you, if you don't have $1 million right now to just throw away, don't even get into the business.
Do it, yeah.
Like in $1 million isn't, and that, so this is with them, and I'm not going to say how much it costs if you go to them, but there's a certain, they don't even have interest unless you're willing to buy so much, because it's not worth their time.
Well, sure, yeah, because they're going to distill it for you too. I mean, so they're not going to want to distill 5 barrels for somebody.
Right? No, they're going to
barrels.
distill hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of alcohol for you.
Right.
But then you got to start thinking about packaging, glass, trademark, copyright, like all this stuff you have to do, and that stuff adds up faster than you think. And that was one of the things, like when Macaulay was doing Dark Arts, of there's 2 or 3 brands in the alcohol industry that have Dark Arts. Like there's a Scotch brand that has a whiskey called Dark Arts. There's a beer called Dark Arts, or there's a brewery called Dark Arts Brewing, or they have a beer, I can't remember. But those things where it's like you have to prove you're not infringing on that, and it's not going to take away sales. So that was work that they had to do beforehand, or get permission, which they did both. And that stuff people don't think about, and that's a lot of money up front.
Yep, sure it is. So, Philip, what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about the deferring. I think you got to have the money backing you before you get into it.
Yeah, but if you had money backing you, rather than having to upfront cost the production of the barrels, I mean, would that be feasible, or do you think that would be?
I mean, I guess it just depends on who you want to owe money to. You want to owe more money to your investors.
But these are I think it's non-recourse. So basically,
they just take their alcohol. They're just going to take their barrels back.
They're taking the barrels as collateral, so you're not personally on the hook.
Okay.
So you basically go in and like, hey, can I get $1 million? Of course, they're going to have to vet you. You're not going to just be able to walk out.
I'm not just rolling in there.
Yeah. You're not going to get $1 million for the barrels and be like, okay, good luck, see you in 4 years.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to have to qualify, I'm sure, to work with them. But
if they don't have a credit score, I'll give it a shot.
But I mean, when I saw it, I was like, I think it's a great. I mean, because banks are kind of doing that. I mean, but they're taking loans, and it's personal loans, and you're personally in debt, and you're taking the barrels.
Well, they'll do. Some banks will do loans to a whiskey business, and they will use like they will use barrels as collateral, but they'll also use like, if you bottle your own stuff, do you have a bottle? They'll use your physical assets against
your equipment.
Yeah. And it's like, do you really want to get into debt and risk losing all the shit that makes you money?
Yeah.
Is Whiskey House doing their own brand?
Whiskey House, no, they don't have their own brand.
So there's not. Because I was thinking, well, it's a win-win for them, because if they're just going to take the barrels back,
they're going to take them back and then they'll resell them to someone out of market.
Somebody else.
Yeah. That's the thing, because they contract distill for I don't know how many different brands already. So whatever they distill, if the deal goes south, they'll just take those barrels and probably sell them, be able to either broker them out to somebody else or sell them to an existing client.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good if you're wanting to get into the business, the startup. It gives you the opportunity where you're not having to go through a bank and things like that. And it's, you're working with people that are already in the business.
Yeah.
But
I kind of see this as a game changer, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know that there's nobody really
not doing it all in house. I mean, like you go to Bardstown, they're like, we can give you the phone numbers of some people, but not someone who's doing it all in house.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, Matt, what do you think? You're in the business, Matt.
I'm just wondering about the timing, because I feel like the small source brands are kind of on a decline.
Right.
So the timing seems a little off, but it is a good opportunity.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt?
To me, I look at it 2 ways. One, it's really convenient, which is nice. This makes Whiskey House like a one-stop shop.
Yeah,
convenience is key.
Convenience is key. But on the other side, you also pay for convenience.
You do.
Sure.
If you go and you want to shop around for loans, for everything, to do everything on your own, you'll save money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the same as anything. If you want to get everything, all your groceries from one store, you'll get it all in one stop. But if you want to shop around and find the cheapest broccoli in town, and then the cheapest 6-pack of seltzer water or whatever,
soda, 6 packs of soda, or anything you want to keep cold,
you'll find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere cheaper. So you do get that convenience, but I think you pay for it. So
And
Time is money, though. I mean, like,
have they put out any barrels?
But it's
Do we
waiting.
know
It's-
what their
it's a
stuff
waiting
tastes
They've
game.
like?
distilled 45,000 barrels. They
But
distilled.
I'm not saying is like any brands bought barrels
No.
from them already and released them. So we kind of you're you're also taking a chance and shooting in the dark. Like I'm going to buy these barrels, and
I can't imagine that
I'm not saying I'm sure it's
those
probably
guys.
I'm
are-
sure it's
yeah,
probably fantastic.
I'm just knowing David and knowing Johnny Hargrove and the work that they've done. I can't imagine that, and their facility that they built. I just can't imagine that
I've got a bottle of Stonehammer at home with John's name on it.
anything that they're distilling is going to be bad at all. So I texted David today. I'm like, congratulations, man. We're going to talk about you tonight. we need to get him back on the show because I'd really like to go more in depth with him and just learn more and see see the overall program house
He's
design.
a salesman, though. Careful. He'll have you signed up by
Oh,
the
I
end
know.
of
That's
it.
what I'm thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a feeling David's going to text me back at some point and be like, hey,
Why don't you come in?
why don't you come and
Let's
talk?
have a chat.
Come on, VIP treatment.
Come in and have a seat,
Yeah,
Mark.
come
Let's
on,
talk
man.
about let's talk about that idea you had.
Let's talk about let's talk about that.
Yeah.
See if Mark read the
Sell you a
the gray
timeshare
lines.
as well.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea. I mean,
You
personally,
give him $75, he'll give you 150 back,
that's awesome.
and a free breakfast.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea. If you've got access to capital or a group of investors, and you don't want to be on the hook, or you want to utilize that money and be able to expand that. So if you had $1 million, then you could probably go to them and get $5 million worth of barrels because you're going to be able to service the debt and still have money to pay other things. You could defer that interest, you could pay your debt, and you're going to be able to get a lot of barrels produced that you can do that year after year potentially. Of course, you're going to have some source of income potentially, or just have money you can sit on for a while. But if you're able to do that, man, I just think it's a great plan. So I'm curious to see how it works out.
That's where, just real quick to go back to like Matt shopping around. Like I get that. I'm like, my mom and dad were the people who would drive 30 miles out of their way to save 5 cents on gas. And I'm the guy who looks at that as like, well, okay, it's 5 cents a gallon. You have 10 gallons, you're saving 50 cents. Is it really worth driving 60 miles round trip to save 50 cents? Like, which in the whiskey industry, I don't know. It's not really that big of penny pinching. At some point, people just are kind of like, it's all right, it's a few hundred bucks, we'll make it back or whatever. But I like the idea because I say this to my girlfriend all the time, and she's like, I don't want a DoorDash. It's going to cost $3 extra for us to do this. And I'm like, well, I pay $10 a month, so we can pay that extra $3 so I can get it brought to my door.
Yeah.
So we're going to use it, damn it, that's $13 that I'm going to be without regardless.
Something to be said for the convenience factor, right? So
And I guess where it is a one-stop shop, they are probably going to siphon off some source brands from MGP or name the place that's sourcing. They're going to be able to source them because it's the one-stop shop. They can do everything there.
Or from
because are they doing the bottling and stuff there?
I mean,
that I don't know. Are they do? Well, I don't know. I don't know about their whole entire. I've never seen their operation, but that does beg a question of like that will open up spots for Bardstown Bourbon Company, and that alleviates more space for people who want to be at these contracts. Because at one point in time, Bardstown had to let go some of their bottom clients because they were not purchasing enough.
Yeah.
So now those people will be able to have access back to that whiskey. Or Campari did the same thing with Wilderness Trail, where they fired a bunch of their clients because they're like, you're not buying enough. What I think that's a whole nother can of worms, but I think those companies have learned, and nothing against Campari, nothing against Bardstown or Green River or anyone, or MGP, who did the same thing several years ago. They fired a bunch of people. When I say people, I'm like, brands who are buying from them because they weren't buying enough.
right. Yeah. Not individual people.
Right.
Brands that weren't.
There's something to be said about, money speaks volumes in this industry, and, you can burn a bridge with a company when they're at a certain size. And this isn't coming from like who I work for or anything like that. Nothing at all. This is like, I've seen it from one or two brands who were using a certain particular place, were let go, and we're cutting your contract. And now those facilities are like, we're taking all bids and we're giving discounts on barrels because we need the business.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show like no matter how big of a company it is, they're always going to shoot themselves in the foot when it comes to like, we're too good to need your few barrels.
Yeah.
Because you have someone like Whiskey House who says, we'll do it all.
Yeah.
You want it all? You want 5 barrels? We'll just give you the money and you pay us whatever you want.
Well, the funny thing was too, just, that announcement came out today. Of course, that's, we're 2 weeks. This show coming up anyway, but Brendiamo Group put out a thing on Instagram.
Their partnership with BBC.
8 hours, 9 hours later, basically. And I don't know, it didn't say anything about funding, but it was geared towards, hey, if you're a non-distilling producer and you're buying barrels, you know, you can work with us, with Bardstown Bourbon Company. We can make things easier for you. So I don't know if it's financing or not. The post didn't say, and I couldn't find anything on their website. But obviously they are offering some additional services as well for brands to come in and work with Bardstown Bourbon.
Kind of like Matt on Tuesdays.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's the concierge thing.
That's awesome.
He's laying out his ham up on the counter.
Yeah, it's awesome ham. All right, guys, let's jump back to the whiskey because we're almost at the end. We're actually at the end of the round, but we need to talk about palate and finish. So Matt, we started with you. We'll finish with you on this one.
All right. The palate on mine is a little bit thin on the front of the palate. It a touch medicinal, some dried fruit, almost like a cherry cough syrup note to it. It's good and oaky and spicy on the finish, however. Like the spice I didn't pick up at first, but it's really coming around at the finish and as I go back to it a little more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any guesses, or you want to?
I am going to guess I've got the pepper 15.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right, hold on. Let me write. I'm going to write down what everyone guesses, so whenever they're wrong.
You can make fun of them all.
Yes.
All right, Chad, you are next.
So the taste on mine is, I'm getting that same similar vintagey, like library book note. A lot of citrus. It's weird. For some reason, like palm oil, like I got this weird, this like really odd. I'm gonna have you try my glass afterwards, like, but. And then I got a little bit of banana, just like some like white fruit, a little tropical, which there's a few things on this table that could lean that way. I don't recall this texture. And this doesn't, I thought I was right because of the vintaginess, but I'm leaning towards the Old Medley 12.
Okay.
This. It tastes low proof, but there's something odd in there. And I think this is it.
Philip, what about you, man?
I'm not a fan of this one at all. It's like musty. I feel like it's definitely low proof.
Okay.
It's weird, but it tastes old. Like it
I got you.
old,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it tastes
right.
young at the same time. Like it gives you some of those unpleasant young notes, but
Taste it.
I don't know. It's just something off about it. I feel like it's one of the older dusty bottles, but I can't even pinpoint. Let me see. Weird.
It's like, what is this? Sawdust.
Yeah.
Bananas.
This is. I'm
That is
almost
weird.
positive. This is the Old Forester.
All right. So
Old Forester 86.
The 86.
Yeah.
All right. Man, and I'm going to do this mostly based off the appearance, and I know I shouldn't do that because this doesn't have what I would consider to be typical beam notes. But, I mean, this is an 86 beam, right?
83.
83 beam, so 41 years old. So I'm sure things have changed.
I mean, you've changed in 41 years.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got much more
much.
handsome.
Yeah, you taste different than you used to.
Oh, God. Anyway.
You're like a country ham.
Yeah, a little saltier.
Yeah,
saltier
definitely saltier. There's no doubt about that.
That's why they call you coot.
Did Matt have to scrape you off too?
He had to cut off the fat ends. But it does not have what I would consider to be what the modern day beam notes. It also, to me, drinks hotter than, what is that, only 80 proof?
80 proof.
It drinks higher to me than 80 proof and even spicier. But just the look of it and everything else that was with it, I'm like, there's nothing else on this table that resembles that, man. So I'm calling the beam the 83-year-old beam. Right. So that's where we're going to leave it. And we'll get Mrs. Bourbon Life to tell us what we did right and what we did wrong.
What'd you guess? You guessed the Old Foe, right?
Yep, he guessed the 86 Old
Boy,
Foe.
we've got both of the Dusties seem to be called out in round one.
I know, that's kind of weird, right?
I mean,
So-
this has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be one of the older ones.
I thought my glass was this, but then I tasted it and I'm like, there's some weird.
something going on.
Well, so I'm not a fan of Old Forester.
Yeah.
And I know their recipes haven't changed that much.
Yeah.
And so that also makes me think that that's what it
that's
is.
what it
Because
is.
some of these other brands I know I like. And so it's like, that's way too off to be, you know.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Well, let's take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back and we'll reveal who was right and who was wrong. But then we'll also move on to round two of our 12 12 bourbon blind.
The 12 Blinds of Christmas.
Oh, Matt. But
we need some jingle bells.
that's awesome, man. All right, everybody sit tight. We'll be right back. Welcome to Old Dominick Distillery, a family-owned craft distillery nestled in the heart of downtown Memphis. Founded by descendants of Domenico Canali, a pioneering Sicilian immigrant who made Memphis his home in the late 1800s, Old Dominick is steeped in history and tradition. Old Dominick prides itself on offering a diverse selection of whiskeys to satisfy every taste. Whether you're a seasoned connoisseur or a curious newcomer, you'll find something to love, including an 85 proof Tennessee whiskey, bonded Tennessee whiskey, a single barrel Tennessee whiskey, a 90.1 proof bourbon, and coming this fall, a cask strength bourbon. Each bottle of Old Dominick whiskey is crafted with care, featuring unique mash bills that offer a variety of high and low proofs. This dedication to quality ensures there's a perfect pour for every whiskey enthusiast. Old Dominick whiskeys are proudly distributed in several states, including Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Georgia, Arkansas, Illinois, and Mississippi. Can't find us locally? No problem. You can conveniently purchase our products online and have them delivered straight to your doorstep. Ready to explore the world of Old Dominick? Visit our website at olddominick.com to learn more about our history, discover our products, and find a retailer near you. Visit the historic James E. Pepper Distillery, located in the vibrant Distillery District in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Initially built in 1880 by Colonel James E. Pepper, one of the founding fathers of the bourbon industry, it operated until 1967 when it was shut down and abandoned for over 50 years. After a decade of historical research, the brand was relaunched and the distillery was rebuilt. Distilling resumed on-site in 2017, using the same historic bourbon recipe as when it closed in 1967. The distillery offers a selection of fine whiskeys for tasting and retail purchases, including the award-winning Decanter Bourbon. Intimate guided tours include time in the museum, an up-close look at the grain-to-glass process, and a complimentary tasting. Stop by for an old-fashioned cocktail and see why TripAdvisor ranks the Pepper Distillery as the third best distillery in Kentucky and the #1 attraction in Lexington. Learn more at jamesepepper.com. All right, everybody, welcome back to round two, the reveal of first round of the blind. We are the Bourbon Life Podcast, presented by Liquor Barn. Wait, crap, I'm off everything on that one, aren't I? We are the Bourbon Life Crew. Shit, let me start all over again, guys. Sorry.
I promise he's only had one pour.
I'm going to start that all over again.
No,
I just fucked up
Are
everything.
you kidding me?
I had 3 upstairs. Yeah, here we go.
Leave all this in there. Leave it in there.
I'm not leaving it.
This is gold.
I'm not leaving
This
it.
is gold.
No, I'm
Yes.
not.
This is what the
all
crew
right.
episodes are
All right.
about.
Leave
I'm
it
going to
in.
leave it in there. Man,
No editing.
what a mess.
Yeah.
We are the Bourbon Life Podcast presented by See, I can't even go into that. I need to say we are having our holiday spectacular.
Presented by Liquor Barn. Thank
Yes,
you,
but
Liquor
we've got
Barn,
all of
for
our
putting
friends-
on.
I got to introduce everybody.
It's the 12 Pours of Christmas, Mark, presented by
12
Liquor
Everybody
Barn.
knows who we are.
Yeah.
At this point, if they're listening, they know who the hell we are.
Chad, Philip, Matt.
Hey,
Yes.
what's up, everybody?
Okay, and we're presented by Liquor Barn.
We are. And all of our other sponsors. Thank
and
you
all
so
of-
much
yes,
for your
And all
support.
presenting sponsors. Yes. Thank you guys for paying for this so we can be here.
Absolutely. We certainly could do it without your support, but it wouldn't be any good.
It wouldn't be any good.
No.
not at all.
They've allowed for this nice equipment that we
Yes,
are on.
That we tarnish.
I definitely have some nice equipment.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so we are back for the big reveal from
All right.
round one.
the
round one.
12 Pours of
12
Christmas.
blinds of Christmas. So I will start. I was the one to lead it off. I had pour number 2.
You did?
Which I believed was the James E. Pepper 15 year.
and Matt, I will say you are correct.
Wow. Go, Matt.
That was the Pepper Rye 1776, right? That is the Pepper Rye. That's not the El Rosa, obviously. So, all right, Chad, you were second. So what did you?
I had glass number 3, and I guessed. First thought I was thinking Old Foe 86, and then I swapped to the Old Medley 12 because it was so funky.
Okay, Chad, you are wrong.
Yeah.
You were correct at first. You should.
Damn. I should have stuck with my gut.
You
I
had the
should've-
old.
So that means I'm wrong.
That means Philip's wrong.
You should.
Philip, you had the Old Medley 12.
Huh? Wait. No.
I had
you
pour
were,
number 5.
No, I was joking because I
guessed Old Forester 86
Yeah.
on mine.
You did, and you're right.
So how did we both have it?
You
just
didn't.
told Chad that he had the 86.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
No, wait. Who had number 5? You
Me.
had number 5.
I had number
I'm
5.
sorry. You were the Distiller's Reserve. My bad. You were wrong.
What? Which one?
The KO.
The rye.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I had that over Thanksgiving, and I did not think it was that terrible.
Yeah. Sorry.
Or that
man.
weird.
Sorry, KO. I'll never buy a bottle.
Thanks a lot, Matt, for bringing that.
What a jerk.
Gosh.
I'm gonna mark 3.
It was not from
Yeah,
my
sorry
palate.
about that. Yeah, so we've had the Pepper 15, the Old Medley, the Old Foe,
That means the Old Foe is off the table, and the
Distiller's Reserve, KO's off. And I was the last to go. I guessed Beam 83, and guess what?
You're right.
I was right.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the Beam. And the only reason I knew that was just because the way it looked.
Which one did you have?
I saw
had the
you pull that
Pepper
bottle
15.
out
Pepper
earlier when you
15,
got here,
okay.
Chad. And I saw how cloudy, because I even commented, oh, that's kind of cloudy. And when I saw it in the glass, you handed it to me. I was like, yeah, that's it, right? So
That's why I tried to bring mostly only cloudy bottles. These things have been open for a minute.
you don't get to participate anymore. You bring cloudy bottles. Anyway, all right, so we're moving on to round 2 now.
Listen, last time, how old were you in 1983?
Me?
Yeah.
I was 15 years old.
All right, yeah. So you're welcome for bringing you something from your childhood.
Thank you very much. I did not drink whiskey at 15.
I drank
Don't
rum at
lie.
15.
You know you took a sip.
I was
didn't
still
you?
drinking beer. No, I'd had Jack Daniels. All right.
I was in AA by 15. I wasn't drinking anymore.
Look, man, I wasn't drinking anymore. I hit AA at 12, and I was off
Got
the
off the
sauce.
chime.
Yeah.
And then I hit 16 years old, and it was just,
Eastern Kentucky, that's what they start you on, isn't it? Moonshine?
moonshine. Now, we actually, you know what? I didn't have moonshine growing up. I actually sampled it down in Eastern Kentucky. My relatives were in Pike County, so yeah, I did actually experience it, but it wasn't something that was around us growing up as a kid. So did not have that. All
I
right,
think
guys.
it's the ironic. East Kentucky is like, the Bible Belt, but also like the moonshine runners' safe haven.
So, moral of the story, your parents weren't degenerates.
No, my parents not at all. No, my parents did not drink, and so I wasn't able. Well, I should rephrase that. When I hit 10 years old, my dad stopped drinking because he drank beer, and he and his buddies used to drink a lot of beer.
All right, so here we are,
Anyway,
round 2.
here we are.
The 2 dusties are gone.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
right.
So the dusties are out. What do we got? Who wants to lead off on the nose
Chad.
on this one?
Well,
Chad?
I've not even sniffed mine. That's what I was about to say. I've seen Philip sniff his.
Philip,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in this one, I'm getting a lot of cherry, oak. It's nosing like it's a higher proof.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know for sure, but I'm anticipating that this is something from Buffalo Trace. It's got a very classic Buffalo Trace style nose.
But now wait. But you said it's not. You said it's high proof though.
Well, it's nosing like it's high proof. It could be because
be, okay.
you got benchmark, which is probably a 4 to 5 year, and then you've got the straight.
There's a straight from the barrel.
What's
and then
the
there's
straight from the
also
barrel.
Chad's.
Yeah.
I forgot
pick,
about the straight from
but,
the barrel.
But this one, so it's either going to be a higher proof or it's hot because it's a little younger.
So the benchmark is, what's the proof on the benchmark?
95.
Or 95.
95. Okay, gotcha.
What's your? I'm writing down everyone's guesses so I can
Oh,
as well. That way, there's just more than one person doing it. What's your guess? If you or
On
do
the
you want to
nose?
wait?
Well, I'm going to wait till I taste
let
it.
it-
Yeah, I haven't
get to the
we're
tasted
not
It's
guessing
easy
yet,
yet.
man. God, back it up, bro.
Hey, yeah, he seemed confident.
Come on.
I'm pretty confident it's from Buffalo Trace, but wait till I taste it.
Okay. All right. Matt? No, wait. Chad.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, Chad, that thing is dark.
It is dark.
I bet I know what that is.
I think I know what it is too. So it's very earthy, very, very earthy on the nose. A lot of chocolate, a lot of rich dry fruit, leather, tobacco. It's a vibrant and expressive nose. It hits me like it is wine finished. I've not tasted it yet, so I'm gonna hold those thoughts because sometimes you get tricked, like when you think Old Foe is Old Medley, but yeah. Just a lot of good grain. Yeah, we'll go. I'm gonna wait to taste it till after you have
All
yours.
right. This one is nosing very high proof, like very, very high proof. And of course, the look on it, it has a look of to me, a higher proof whiskey. It doesn't look like it's been cut down very much.
Would you say it's straight from the barrel?
I'm not going to say that just yet, Matt, but I'm getting a lot of familiar Buffalo Trace types of notes on it. So I'm going to taste it here in a minute, and I'll come back and let you know what I think about that. But
Or does it taste a high rye mash
no,
bill?
you know what? At first, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, maybe it could be, but nosing it, it doesn't nose to me like that like that OGD 116 at all, which I've been fortunate enough to have. And of course, I've had the straight from the barrel. Actually, had some straight from the barrel earlier this evening. So very reminiscent of that, I will say.
It tastes like 2 hours ago.
Right off the bat, I will just say it's very reminiscent of what I. But of course, I was eating country ham with it, so that obviously but enhanced the flavor in different ways. So, and I don't know, I actually took a sip of it without having country ham at the same time. So, now here we go. This is the real test. Yeah, we need to get that on camera too, right? So, gosh, it smells so good. All right, Matt, I'm going to throw it to you so I can eat the country ham.
Yeah, mine to me, smells very quintessential bourbon. At first, there was a bit of nuttiness, a lot of vanilla, a lot of caramel cream on it. As it's sitting in the glass a little bit more, it's opening up with some grain. Makes me think it could be a little bit younger or a little bit lower in proof. Some grain is coming through, and it's starting to open up with some fruit notes as well. Some cherries, sort of some dried fruit. I know it kind of seems like the theme of this round is everybody's saying that they have a Buffalo Trace distilled product, but I wouldn't be surprised just based on the nose if I have a Buffalo Trace distilled product. So we'll see.
We're all like hitting the Buffalo Trace line here.
We're all going to guess the same thing.
Yeah. Oops. Everyone has Blanton straight from the barrel.
Only one of us could be right, though. Right? Chad, what are the things you want to talk about? Anything?
Well, gentlemen,
start your engines.
Lady who's not here, if you can call her that.
Cool. Ouch.
Usually we do some of the best ofs in this episode, and we usually have the episode about a week later than normal. But what's some of the best stuff? I mean, we've had there's been a lot of good whiskey this year.
We have had
a lot of good whiskey this year. And there's always going to be more. But I feel like we should at least top 3 to 5 best pours you've had this year. And if something pops up later on, you can always update your list as we're all chit-chatting here. I've not made mine out yet, but whoever wants to go first, I'll throw one out there. I think one of my favorite pours I've had this year was Booker's The Reserves. I got to try that at House of Bourbon, and Garrett brought his personal bottle in. And not going to give it any specific rating, but it was, to me at that time, it was one of the greatest things I'd had of the year. 8 to 14-year-old beam, cast strength, mix of warehouses and floors, and I just thought that showcased that was on the quality of your Booker's 25th,
sure,
30th. I thought it was just as good or better as some of those anniversary releases.
And I would agree with that. That would be definitely on my top 5. The Booker's Reserve. No specific order at this point, but yeah, Booker's Reserve would definitely be in my top 5. Philip, what about you? You got anything?
I would say the Heaven Hill 18, I believe. We did that this year.
That was this year, wasn't it?
That was this year. Yeah. That would
have been early on.
Yeah.
That was early,
but that one was a really
that's
good
a good one.
And then, was it a Knob Creek 18? Did we,
I don't know.
Or was it a 15?
We did Knob Creek 18 2 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
That's all right, man.
But this little book that Chad opened, it's really good.
Yeah.
That's on my list now too.
Yeah.
The Infinite?
The Infinite. Yeah, the Infinite's really good.
Yeah, those two stand out.
Matt, have you had the Infinite?
I just had a little pour of it. Yeah, Chad poured it up. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really stood out.
We can come back. Just keep thinking about it.
What about that Jim Beam 20?
That was going to be my number one.
That was my next one.
That 20 year. That was pretty good. I'm usually not one to go for those crazy older.
But here's the thing. It wasn't super dry. It was actually very flavorful. It had a lot of good texture to it. It was dry, but it wasn't there's stuff on this table that straight from the barrel drink's drier than that Beam 20. But yeah, that was hands down the best Bardstown collection release this year.
Yeah. Good price point
way
too,
back
right?
$200, 200
like 180 or 200.
No, was it 250? All the bottles are the same price.
No, they weren't. they were not.
I thought they were. I thought they were all
Lux Rose was $220. It's basically between $180 and $250.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Beams was selling theirs for $230 plus tax at the distillery.
So right at $250.
Around $250.
Yeah.
The other one that it hit me, taking it back to early 24, was the Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye that we had at Liquor Barn.
yeah.
That one was really good.
That's like a
The
life.
Eagle Rare 17 was good, but Matt hated it. But the Family Reserve Rye, the 13-year, that was really good.
So I had to pour that on Sunday. I was doing a barrel pick, and a guy brought a bottle of that. Of that same release, and I was like, damn, because we're tasting. We had King Kentucky.
Yeah.
We were tasting a 2013 barrel pick of Henry McKenna back when they still did those. I had my Brook Hill on the table, and everyone's going nuts over all kinds of different stuff. We had pre-fire Heaven Hill, but I'm like, man, this Van Winkle Rye it's a 20 out of. It was 20 out of 10. That was just a special pour.
And that was a 23 edition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. We're in 24, but I'm just talking best things I've had this year.
No, right. No, I was just
Yeah.
Yeah, because Liquor Barn didn't release till it was like January, February.
March, whenever we did
And
that.
I've not had any of the B-Tax this year, and I've not had any of the Van Winkle's Pappies or anything for this year. So I can't speak to the quality. I'm sure they're good, but I can't really say what they are. So I have no way to make any statements on those.
What about, here was a real surprise one for me. Sorry to cut you off there, Mark, but I wanted to get it in. Kind of a budget bottle, and keeping it local here would be the Town Branch Overproof.
Overproof, yeah.
Overproof from, I guess, Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company, as it's called now, but the Overproof. 100 proof, what, like $35, $40?
Yeah, I think they said their target goal is like average of $38.
Yeah.
So
was that the one that
with Dave Bob?
That was
Dave
Bob,
Dave
but that
Bob's
was
blend.
his, right?
Yeah.
That was his blend, right? So
I was so pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
It was a very good pour for sure. So, and what other things, guys? Anything? The Heaven Hill or the Heaven Hill 18 was
that one was really good.
Really
so
good.
next round, what was your most disappointing pour?
Well, I mean, have you guys had this year's Michter's 10 at all? The bourbon or the rye? I got to have both. I was at Chad and Sarah's the other day, and Chad poured up a little bit of each of them. Mm-hmm. And I usually lean for the rye. I always think Michter's 10 rye is one of the best rye whiskeys.
Yeah.
Every time it comes out, that's the bar for the best rye whiskey to really beat for me. And I always try and get a bottle every release. The bourbon though, that the profile of that drank very much like some of these super high aged, like a King Kentucky that had those vintagey notes, that oxidation, like where you're getting that earthy aroma and that some of those funky fruit notes. But it was so silky, being whatever they do it at, like 90.4 proof or whatever the bourbon is. That was a really good one that surprised me, because I always choose the rye over the bourbon.
Yeah.
And but I don't know. I feel like this year they've really not. Michter's hasn't really hyped. Like, they've been doing a lot of marketing on their stuff, but they also dropped, what was it, the 20 again this year? They put all their marketing into the 20 year, which I've not had, so I can't speak to that.
I did not get a sample bottle of that one. So.
Funny thing, huh?
Matt, what was it? Was it a Michter's that we had this year that was like we were underwhelmed?
It might have been. I thought early
this year. It seems like
I know they did the toasted rye this year.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Yes.
The toasted rye was really good.
Was this year when we had the toasted sour mash?
I don't think that was this year.
I think they released that last year, because I remember that last year, I believe, at KBF.
I brought...
But that is a resounding miss.
Because I brought like the last release bottle from like 2019.
Okay.
Was that...
No, I don't remember when that was, but yes, I think we all collectively were just like that toasted. And somebody asked me about Michter's products, and I'm like, I love everything except
Yeah.
the toasted sour mash, man. I don't know. They're just something about, what was the Woodford Reserve?
Double, or the...
No,
the quadro toast, the heavy toast, low char.
Yeah. The just make Woodford Reserve toasted.
it was toasted. It was called
just
toasted.
toasted.
It was like
just in a
char
toasted.
1.5 toast or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tasted like green oak.
Oh man, that was a disappointment. Were you here for? Did we do that on a cruise show?
I think we did.
I don't think
We did a cruise show on that one.
I don't know if he was here.
Okay,
Usually Philip's the one not here more often than
Yeah,
not.
we blame it on Philip.
Yeah.
Good job,
I mean,
Philip.
you are, but
Yeah, that was probably one of the ones because I think I went out that morning because they announced it and I was all excited. I drove out to Woodford, got those bottles.
That might have been the episode where I was
stuck on a
stuck
highway
on the
traffic.
interstate
Yeah.
for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Philip.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Dang. Yeah.
Because we were all excited for that.
Oh,
And-
super excited,
Right?
man.
Yeah.
And I
I
was
think
like,
that was that episode. Yeah, I was sitting on the interstate.
that was a miss. And again, almost everything I get from Woodford, I'm a fan of.
But I mean, I'll give them credit for this though. I mean, it's there's a reason they put it in the 375. It's meant to be. It's experimental.
Well,
you
sure,
know?
sure.
So like, I
Yeah.
give them credit for doing it, but
But they're charging the price of a full $750.
that was my follow up, and they could have named it something different. You know, because it was in a low char heavy toast. They should just called it low char heavy toast.
Woodford Green.
Like, well, hearing Woodford toasted,
Yeah.
I expect.
Marshmallows and campfires.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a precedent that sets whenever you call it that. It's like batch proof. I love batch proof. Like I got the email today about, hey, we're
Yeah. I thought about it. I was like, nah.
and I was like, if there are any left, please put my name in the hat for a sample because I love those. I absolutely love those. And last year I brought that, and we all went nuts. Everyone thought it was like a Willet.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 375s this year haven't been.
I'm trying to think of, yeah.
The double was okay.
It was okay.
It wasn't great, but the
Right.
price went up. That's the thing. The prices went up too. So as part of this is best of releases really kind of come down to like if the juice is worth the squeeze. And as far as those 375s, those pints go, this year they have not. They have not
Yeah.
been. And they're usually some of our favorite stuff.
Yeah. That toasted was just, I remember because we were just all like, oh man, that's not really a thing. I'm trying to think. There was something else that I was not a fan of. Oh, the Old Forester. What was the 1924? Was that what it was? 1924? Was that the one?
Oh,
The
the
10 year?
10 year. The 10 year.
The 10-year.
Yeah, I think it was the
No,
1920.
10 year, not tenure. Teachers have tenure. Yeah. So,
But you get that after 10 years, right?
yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
It's actually 5, I think.
Oh.
You get tenure after 5 years, I believe.
Oh, anyway. So
It's weird. It's government. It does nothing
because
makes sense.
we did it was a crew episode
Yeah.
again, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And we cracked that one. And because you loved
Chad
it, right?
loved
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I immediately, actually, I had got a bottle that day. Like, I had secured one. I didn't have it physically in my possession. And I tried it here, and then I immediately reached back out to someone to find a second bottle. So, that one, I forgot about that.
I wasn't a big fan of that one, man. I haven't gone back to revisit it since then either, but that was the one that kind of,
Well, it
really
is-
surprised me.
And this is what I think people just skip on, is because it's not cast strength, but it's basically 10-year King Kentucky at 100 proof. And I think it,
it
drinks
wasn't.
that. I think it's great.
What'd you think of it, Matt? Do you remember?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But I
It
think
wasn't 100 and whatever I
no,
spent
yeah,
for it.
price point altogether, it was like, no, absolutely no way.
Yeah.
100, it was like 140, 150 bucks. I thought it was worth every bit of that.
Which I got to say, the King of Kentucky you had, Mark, no, that was
That's
amazing.
going to be your biggest disappointment.
That one,
there it
that
is.
one disappointed me. That one was big. Now on the affordable side, Traveler.
Oh, yeah.
That I mean,
That was
I brought it here and then
Yes.
I gave it away.
Yeah.
There's a guy at work. He was like, "Yeah, I like it." I was like, "You can have it."
yeah,
That
was,
to me, and they've even tried to do some
Damage control.
damage control on that. And this is nothing against Chris Stapleton, but he's
It's not like he's listening.
no. But I mean, like people who
You never know.
People, yeah,
you never
don't
know.
sell yourself short, Matthew.
Chris, we love your music. Don't like your whiskey.
I don't listen to country,
I don't either, actually.
but I would not go to Mark and ask for a professional opinion on NASCAR from him, and like what kind of tires I should put on my NASCAR, just like I wouldn't go to a guy who doesn't drink what he would do with a whiskey.
Yeah, that's the weird thing because he doesn't
and
drink,
like-
right?
And so
He
my thing
drinks
too is
occasionally
like
beer.
Harlan put his name on the label too, so he was involved in picking it.
Yeah.
And it said it was like they tasted 40 something batches, and that was the one they landed on.
That was their favorite of like the 90 they tried. But here's
Now,
the thing:
I
is
will-
how many of those did they go through? Like, or how many people did it go through before those? They were like, "Hey, this is good. This,
Yeah.
give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin. Give this to Kevin." Before they were like, "Hey, all these people like it. Stamp it. It's approved."
Right.
Because
So I will say, after it was open for a while,
Yeah.
the flavors did improve,
It did? Okay.
but they still were not
Not
what
what
you
you-
would expect. I mean, I would buy this and I don't even know if I'm tasting it right now, but I think I am.
Yeah.
But I would buy that all day over.
Speaking of which,
over that Traveler.
Yeah. All right. So we got some duds from this year, right? Matt, did you give us a dud?
King Kentucky.
Oh man.
What was if you like,
Babe Ruth over here? He's
what was one of your
there.
favorite,
He's
what
like-
of your favorite 10 pours this year? Like one of your favorite 10.
You know, I really like the 10-day bourbon high rye. High rye bourbon.
45% rye, right?
Yeah, 45%.
You gave me a sample. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
50, 100 proof, 50% ABV, single barrel. I thought that was one of the better things we had all year.
What was their retail on that? Like 45, 50 bucks?
Yeah, it's a little pricier. I think it's like 80 or so.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought it was much.
a little bit of an ask if if I had to weigh in on it, but I thought it was a really great.
For a bunch of knucklehead doctors, they did pretty good.
My thought with that was like, imagine like double oaking or toasting that. It would have been up there because Peerless. I don't know their mash bill, but Peerless does. Oh, there's another one. Like their toasted bourbon and their high rye is really good this year.
Yeah.
They do a high rye mash bill. They don't tell anyone what it is, but their toasted bourbon and most of their double oaked lately has been the high rye mash bill. So I think they could really.
If you had to pick a favorite so far, like the favorite, do you have a favorite? I'm going with the Beam 20. That's been my favorite this year. So I'm gonna steal that one. But if you guys want it,
I didn't have the Beam. I don't think I tried the Beam 20.
damn it, it's upstairs.
It's got to be the Heaven Hill 18.
Yeah, it's
Or
delicious.
the Van Winkle Rye, but I would say the Heaven Hill 18.
Okay, Matt,
better.
would you say?
At Van Winkle rye, I can die happy.
Gotcha, Chad.
Yeah, if I'm going to choose a rye, it's going to be of this year. It's going to be the It's going to be the Rare Character Limited Release Rye Batch 1.
This isn't a commercial, man.
Where you can find that, I don't know. The Van Winkle Rye, by far one of the best ryes I've ever had in my life.
Sure.
That was just so good. Another one I forgot is the Old Fitz 13 VVS. The Bernheim.
Yeah,
A lot of people
that's
didn't
right,
think
yeah.
that was worth a lot of people really just didn't think it was worth the hype. I loved it. It's Bernheim wheat. And they're like, it doesn't taste like the 16-year. Well, no, because this is literally distilled in 1999. And I have a special moment that I enjoyed that bottle with OVW Wrestling. OVW came to Lexington.
What are you trying to say, man?
I'm stuttering.
Chad's
Gotta hurry up.
Chad's going to become a professional wrestler.
That's all he's
gonna tell us.
OVW was here. They were at the Manchester, and I was down there. I took one of the guys who runs a fan group for the brand I work for, and we went and watched wrestling. I met Chad Perkins, another one of his buddies down there.
It's wrestling.
It's real to me, damn it. And it was Al's birthday, and I just happened to have a few bottles in my car, and that was one of them. And we stood there, and that was still half full because I brought it that day, and I let Matt try it. The bottle's still half full, and we're standing there at the bar at the Manchester Music Hall, and Al Snow's like, "Hey, get over this guy's. Hey, look at this bottle. This guy's got free whiskey. Have you pour this whiskey?" And I'm like, "God damn it, Al! I didn't pay for the bottle, so I really didn't care. It didn't cost me anything but my time to go to Heaven Hill and get it that day." But we ended up killing that whole bottle. So I gave it to Al. I was like, "Here you go. He's like, what am I going to do with it?" I'm like, "I don't. You poured it up for everybody." It's like you get to handle the trash now. But that was good. Beam 20 Van Winkle Rye.
Gotcha.
You just can't go wrong.
All right, guys, let's talk about the palate and finish because we're exceeding our times again, and we got a late start because of Mrs. Bourbon Life. So, anyway, let's jump
All right,
back.
lead them off, Mark.
Okay, yeah, cherry, brown sugar, oaky, delicious, high proof, straight from the barrel.
There it is. He's called it.
That's what I'm saying.
What's your number, Mark?
I'm number 4.
I'll go next.
What number were you?
7. Mine repeats on the nose, or the palate repeats from the nose. A lot of chocolate, leather, tobacco, a lot of dried fruit, earthy, minty, spicy.
Okay, we know what it is.
So yeah, Oloroso 1796.
Pepper, sherry, right? All right, Philip, what number were you?
Number 6.
Okay,
It got all the classic hallmarks. It did drink a little hot the first couple sips, then it really softened. So I do think it's the benchmark single barrel. Yeah.
okay.
What's your number?
6.
Sorry, I heard that and I just forgot it.
Matt,
Mine was, again, a little thin, almost touch watery. A little bit of oak and caramel, cinnamon and cherry, opened up near the end. I'm between the Buffalo Trace and the Benchmark. I'm going to guess the Benchmark as well.
All right.
okay.
What's your number?
What's your number?
Number 11.
Number 11. All right. Well, we'll take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll also get the answers from Mrs. Bourbon Life, and we'll come back for round 3 and let everybody know what they got right and what they got wrong. Everybody sit tight. We'll be right back.
Hey there, I'm Carrie Van Winkle, founder of Pappy & Company, where we celebrate family heritage and Southern craftsmanship. Check out our curated collection of artisanal goods that embody the spirit of Kentucky. From our signature barrel-aged pepper sauce aged in Pappy Van Winkle bourbon barrels to our luxurious leather goods inspired by generations of tradition, each item reflects our commitment to quality and legacy. Our line of gourmet food items are thoughtfully selected to bring the taste of the South to your table. Indulge in what I can say is the best bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup on the planet. A perfect blend of buttery rich flavors that elevate any dish or cocktail. We're big fans of the Bourbon Life Podcast, and we're honored to share the legacy of our great-grandfather Pappy Van Winkle with all of you. So visit pappyco.com for 15% off your purchase with code BourbonLife15.
Three Chords line of whiskeys embody the spirit of creativity. The whiskey is a true collaboration between producer and composer Neil Giraldo and master blender distiller Ari Sussman. The Three Chord team of expert blenders, coopers, and sensory professionals have developed a multi-step process they call Perfectly Tuned Taste. This process begins by carefully selecting the finest bourbon and rye whiskeys from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana, and then blending them together. Find out more about the whiskeys and distribution in your area at www.threechordbourbon.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back for the third and final round of the 12
Blinds of Christmas.
12 Blinds of Christmas. We are the Bourbon Life Podcast, of course, and tonight we've got the Bourbon Life crew, everybody except Stacey, hanging out here in the basement with us. We've got...
She's getting visited by 3 men tonight, so she's
we've got Matt.
Ghost.
Matt, what's up, man?
Hey, not much, Mark. Good to be back. 2 nights in a row here. Love it.
That's right. Yeah, we recorded last night.
We did.
Philip's got a
I'm enjoying the meat.
country ham.
Got a mouthful of meat over there.
Hey, hold that plate up so people can see what Matt brought us to. His country ham, his first ever country ham that he cured. Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Chad, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
Yeah.
Having
All
fun,
right.
hanging in there.
We are the Bourbon Life Podcast, presented by Liquor Barn. We appreciate their support and the support of all of our sponsors. We could not bring you such riveting shows and content without all of their support. So thank you all very much for all you do for us. With that said, let's talk about round 2. All right, Chad, you had number 7, correct?
I did.
And you guessed the pepper sherry?
Yep.
You were correct.
I was going to say, if I was wrong, then you and your wife would have a talk.
Philip, you were number 6.
Yep.
All right, you guessed the benchmark. You were wrong. It was the straight from the barrel. So guess what that means?
What? Wow.
That means Mark was wrong.
Yes, that means I was wrong as well. So,
And that tells you it ain't worth the price.
I don't know how to pour that earlier.
No, it was good. It was really good, but
Yeah.
it did soften a lot, so I thought it was the benchmark.
Well, you were right when you said high proof right at the
Yeah.
start.
He was.
yeah. All right, so I guessed straight from the barrel, and I'm so embarrassed for myself because
You
that
got the
was the
beam.
OGD
Yep.
16,
What number did you
Oh,
have?
I said that.
number 4. Yep.
I told you, Mark, you should have listened to me.
Yep. And number 11 was Matt.
Yep.
Matt guessed benchmark. Matt, you were correct. You are
Hey.
You are 2 for 2, my friend. Congratulations on that. So yes,
It feels like he might know what the fuck he's talking about.
I'm just drunk.
I was gonna say,
the
man,
last crew episode, he guessed the country smooth. He knew exactly what it was
that's right.
from the
He knew-
distillery.
yeah, and from where it was from.
Yeah.
Right?
Boom, he nailed it perfect.
Call that an educated palate.
All right. So we go.
Which one did you have, Chad?
Cheating.
All right.
I
So,
had the Oloroso rye.
Okay.
so that was the pepper Olorosa. We got the straight from the barrel, which I cannot believe that I got wrong. The OGD and the benchmark as well, right?
All right, so still left, we have the
Yes.
Smoke Wagon. We've
Yep.
got the Old Medley 12.
Yep.
The Buffalo Trace single barrel is out there, and the Bellmead Honey is still in play as well.
Oh, that's right, because we didn't do the bow. Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't do the
So
scotch.
someone did.
All right,
He had the benchmark.
Oh, wait. Philip had KO rye in the first round,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
All right. I forgot to mark that off.
That's all right, man. We'll keep you online. So this round, we've got more poured up. Who didn't go first? Philip, you didn't go first, did you?
I did on the first nose.
Oh, Chad, go, because I haven't sniffed anything.
Chad, go now.
Very weird.
Go for check.
I can't figure out. There's a lot and nothing at the same time. It's sweet, it's earthy, but it's also spicy, and there's a little bit of oak. From the things that are left, I'm really not sure where to go from here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm getting a lot of like dried fruit, honey, and spice. So I have an idea, but based on what's left, it could be any of them. I have no idea.
Yeah. This is, I'm looking at the list of what's left and I'm like, this doesn't, well, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, the old medley though, is that an old one?
It's a 12-year product, but I don't know if the bottle itself is old.
I got you.
That's at least 2018, 2019.
Okay. But it's not a 1980 something or other.
No.
I know who's got that one though.
Oh, okay.
I'm just calling it now.
Matt.
I know who's got that one.
All right, Matt, mine's just, it's funny. I get a little light fruit. I get some oak. I get clove on this, a little bit of clove almost. But it noses very low proof. So I'm trying to think what the Buffalo Trace single barrel is.
It's
90.
still out there.
90 proof. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then the old medley. What's the proof on the old medley?
86.6.
Yeah, but this doesn't.
And the Smoke Wagon is a
92.
low
92.
It's low, right?
92.5.
Okay.
92.5.
Yeah. I'm going to have to keep guessing on this one because, again, I'm getting kind of that orchard fruit, though, as well. Almost like an apple, like a green apple aroma. But I have no guesses. Guesses on this one. Oh, what?
I don't know why, but I'm going to ask Matt, and everyone can smell my glass. But when you think of like the most generic smell of like you buy like air freshener, and it's like fresh linen or cloud. Think about that. I don't know why it popped in my head, but like it has that weird artificial like cotton.
Yeah.
Like
Interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of like fabric softener.
yeah.
Fabric softener. That is a wonderful note that you want to have in your bourbon, right?
Well, you're gonna smell it because like
I'm gonna
I
smell
thought
it.
I was crazy.
So
I
you
get
all
it.
are smelling Chad's.
There's a hint of oak in there, but I
smelling
get it.
Chad's finger over there.
Yeah.
Mine is I pick up a big. It's kind of got bold, peppery. I'm thinking like higher rye or some decent rye content on it.
Okay.
There's a sweetness, a lot of vanilla, a creamy note, and a little bit of mint comes through on the nose of mine. I think I might know what I have.
I think I know what you have too.
Okay. Now that we've done that, we should have a topic. Is there a topic? Oh, let me. I was going to ask you that because we were talking about favorite bourbons and ryes of the year and least.
I don't think I talked about mine.
You didn't?
No, I don't think so.
I thought you did.
No,
Talk about it,
I
please.
did. I did before we started recording.
Please, Philip, tell us
Wait.
about it.
And it's very sweet and it's light on the
sorry.
nose, and it, like I told you off there, it's like it smells like pixie sticks. It's like a powdered sugary candy,
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
but it is definitely low proof.
Okay. No guesses though, right?
No, not yet.
All right. So
Okay, I know it's not Smoke Wagon. I can tell you this is not.
It's not Smoke Wagon.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely not Smoke Wagon, and it's not Buffalo Trace. So I've narrowed it down to 2.
All right. So, guys, we talked about favorite bourbons and not favorites. What about distilleries? Anybody that kind of that stands out to you guys this year for anything that you're like, oh wow, they've done a great job. They've really.
Rare character in Dark Arts.
Again, this is not a freaking commercial, man. So come on. Anybody that stands out?
I'll say something.
Yeah, that's why you're here, man.
Buffalo Trace. So
Okay.
they're like the staple in Frankfurt, of course.
Sure.
And every year they have the Christmas drive-through.
Yeah.
Lights.
Right.
Christmas lights. So anybody can come down. It's free. You just drive through. This year they basically did like they do their tours, and now you got to sign up online to get a free ticket. And it's not a driving through Christmas light thing anymore. You get to go through and do little tastings, and you got to buy bottles.
Oh,
And so so
crew trip, RV.
no, all the tickets are already sold out.
What the shit?
Like literally the day they announce it, of course, anybody that's in town or that's coming to town, they've seen it, and so
Yeah.
now you can't go. So like that was like the one little thing in Frankfurt
That
where
was
you
kinda
know
like fun and
the local
free, you
people
could
could
just
just
do,
go
right?
through. Yeah, we would go through like 2 or 3 times.
You know
a year
what?
and
It's
just
like
drive
that
through.
damn bourbon
I
festival.
was just gonna say, damn it,
Exactly.
I thought we're talking favorite things.
No, but you were talking
no,
about
see where
distilleries.
the positive here.
No, there isn't a positive on this one.
no, this is a true pitch. Like
this
raise
is-
the
This is the
pitchfork.
axe to grind
This
session.
is I live in Frankfurt, and I always
Philip's
back
pissed.
His
Buffalo
favorite
Trace.
distillery to knock at right now.
Yeah.
I always back Buffalo Trace, but this one actually pissed me off. It's
Yeah.
like, come on. It's like,
He's taking his money to Jay Mattingly now.
Across the street.
they did do a special blend for my daughter's
Oh, did they?
conference.
Oh,
So it was like
cool.
a one of one bottle. So that was pretty cool.
that's awesome.
But,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that one kind of aggravated me since it's a Christmas episode that they were like, oh, here, we're going to capitalize and make
The
more
airing
money.
of Christmas grievances.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
The feats of strength are coming up next.
Yeah. So
We've got, it's Festivus, man. We're just
So
gonna
that
say
one, yeah, that one aggravated me a little bit.
What's he say? I've got a bone to pick with you people.
Do you have a favorite distillery this year? Anything that stands out other than Buffalo Trace pissing you off?
Small, medium, or large. Anyone,
Anybody.
anything
Favorite
that was
distillery.
good.
I think they're not a distillery. I think the 10-day guys are doing some good stuff with theirs.
Sure.
I don't know. There's not really no.
All right.
I'll give Chad some credit. The Brook Hill 11-year rye that I got from him, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So what they're putting out,
Good stuff.
those are
Yeah.
That's
not that
pretty good.
dark arts crap.
I did get a sample of Dark Arts, and it was actually really good. It was one of Matt's
Yeah.
blends.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's been bottled, so that one.
Gotcha. Matt, what about you? Any distillery, anything stand out besides your own personal?
What were some things like early on in the season? We New Riff had the 8-year, right?
Uh-huh.
And that was kind of like, kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's nice to see some of their other stuff coming. Like they've got the malted rye coming back
Sure.
out as like a pretty
They
steady
did their
release.
second batch of the single malt. So
Yeah, that's right. Yep, the second batch, their single malt is out. Then that was another kind of release. So it's really great to see not just some of their stuff coming of age, but some of their other experimental mash bills and
Coming out, good
distillations
stuff.
coming out. I always like to see that from distilling producers, that when they release that weird stuff, so when those funkier things, they don't leave it back as like a blending agent, when they actually let us kind of see what's behind the curtain, what else the distilleries are doing. So I gotta, as much as I think New Riff kind of missed on the 8-year 100 proofer, maybe the
They're making up for it on there.
showcasing some of their other products and
Yeah.
other product lines and other distillations. I think that's really cool.
And
to
I think
see.
they're one of the brands who do it really well. Because I mean, like they came out with that winter whiskey, which I didn't like at first, and the more that, the longer that bottle's set open, the more I had of it. I mean, because it's an oatmeal, it's basically a barrel-aged oatmeal stout that's been distilled and aged. They're one of the few brands who really take a chance, because I mean, their whole team is brewers, so they take a chance on the grain.
Yeah.
And most people take chances on finishing. And there's a lot of money that goes into the grain portion of it, because it is what it is. There's really no saving it once it's made, versus like, you do a bad finish, well, you just refinish it or blend it into something else. But no, I agree with Matt on New Riff. There's someone I would pick every year. As far as brands who I would go with someone taking chances of, not that I've loved everything they've done this year, has been Bardstown Bourbon Company with some of their collab series. Now, some of those have missed the mark for me, but I do think it's great to see them doing like the thing with Amroot. They're doing the Silver Oak. I mean, they're branching out to these big names to bring people in who know those other products. I mean, they've done like Founders and Goose Island. They've done all these other things, but they've gone outside the spectrum. Like, who would have thought of like an Amroot finished American whiskey? Whether you like it or not, I love that kind of idea of finishing and used whiskey barrels and blending and that kind of stuff. Another one is just, I hate to say it, Beam. I think Beam's been killing it with the Bookers, the Little Book, the Old Granddad. They're taking a page, all the Hardin's Creeks from last year, and they released another one this year.
Was the single malt, was that this year?
That was last year.
Claremont Steep.
That was last year.
Was it last year? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was early this year.
But they've done what Heaven Hill used to do in the past, because now like a lot of these kind of expressions of similar stuff from Heaven Hill are all like distillery only or like tour exclusive, or you sign up for a tasting. versus Beam is doing it on the mass scale, where it may be mostly at the distillery, but they're putting some in the market. But I think Beam's done a really good job of. I mean, I've been waiting for like this bottle for several years now. Like, when the hell is it coming? When's it coming? And the way to look at this is, I don't look at it as Old Granddad 16. I think of like, this is Basil Hayden 16.
Basil Hayden 16. Yeah, exactly.
That's because Basil Hayden used to be like always the older whiskey, but now as far as the brands who I think have been let down.
I didn't ask that question, but go ahead.
I'm going to do it anyway. I got to
Buffalo Trace, because they won't let me do the damn Christmas tour.
No, well, it is. I am going to say BT. I am happy to see more products on the shelf, and I think that's part of their marketing strategy of getting stuff out there. A few years ago when I went there and did a pick, they said by 2030 they hope to have all their stuff on the shelf. But the big thing with them is outside, they are innovating within their their product lineup, but they are not doing anything to solve the problem of that. So they announced like 3 products this year, and I've yet to see a single one on the shelf. So
yeah, that stuff. I mean, me, fanboy for Beam, right? That was going to be, and that's what I was thinking when I asked the question, just because Beam has done so much. I mean, dropping that 20-year-old as part of that Bardstown collection, it's like oldest Beam release ever, and it's like, oh, we're going to put it out as part of a collection with other distilleries, right? Not even our own label. We're just doing it with them. And then they started dropping all these other things. The Infinite, the Booker's Reserve, all the old Overholt stuff, Matt. I mean, from a rye standpoint, man, they have revamped that entire lineup and put out, I don't know how many different, the Monongahela, right? That was theirs. Was that this year?
That was last.
Was that
fall.
last year? Okay.
Last fall, I think.
The 11-year old Overholt. And then the 16-year-old Old Granddad. And Freddie's doing his experimental distiller share stuff. Some of it's hit, some of it's a miss. He's got the Worcestershire barrel. I think I have a bottle upstairs. I've not cracked it. But
see, that for me is a little crazy, but I miss those old 375s when his dad would and granddad would do the experimental stuff like the Try to Cow and all these funky weird things. But he's doing his own version of that. Sure. But I love to see a large brand taking those chances.
I do too, man. That's why I love the fact they've got that Fred No Distillery where he can do these smaller one-off 375s and just mess around with stuff. But man, the big things they're putting out, the whole new Booker's line, the whole new Little Book line, that 20-year-old was just, I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other distillery that's doing what they're doing right now in terms of releases, man.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that. And I've always, if anytime someone asks me, they're like, what's your favorite bourbon that you can just get regularly? It's, without a question, no doubt, Knob Creek 100 proof. Yeah. It's always on the shelf. And they haven't ever, I don't feel like they've ever gotten the love that they deserve.
Sure.
Well, they got chastised whenever they removed the 9-year from the age statement, or the 9-year from the bottle, but then they brought it back and everyone's trying again.
But even then, before that, it was still there was no rush to the store to get anything that was Beam.
I think
because it was always there. It's kind of like Maker's Mark, it's always there. So there was like, oh well, that must not be important. Well, Buffalo Trace or whoever's like, well, we can't keep it on the shelf. That's because it's so good.
Yeah,
and I'm glad they're finally putting out more stuff, but to kind of get the recognition that they deserve because they are top notch.
I'll say this: in 2012, 2013, when you could still get Old Rip 10 on the shelf, I was choosing Knob Creek because it's half the price.
Yep. But with Beam, you think of Beam, you think of the white label.
Yep.
You don't think of high quality. I mean, Beam white label is a great pour. The black label 7-year, I love it.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It's awesome. And for $29 a bottle.
Not even 30.
Not even, depending on where you get it. I think
that was another release this year.
Yeah, that was this year.
Yeah, I want to say,
which is crazy.
When I got that bottle at Kroger, I want to say it was $20.
Well, I bought mine at Liquor Barn. It's a little, I paid $29 for
mine.
He
pays convenience tax to get it right across the street.
I can get a chicken salad sandwich with it.
You save gas.
Yeah. There you go. I save gas. That's exactly right, man. So I wasn't worried about it. But yeah, Beam's I think they've stepped it up this year, man. It's just been crazy. All the different things that they've come out with. And I don't know how they're going to continue to do that in 2025. I don't know if they can.
If you would have asked me 5, 6, 7 years ago, the trajectory of Beam, I wouldn't have thought it would have been to and I've always loved Beam, don't get me wrong. I've always loved, Knob Creek's been one of my favorite, Knob Creek 9, Russell's 10, or what should I get? Only those two.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that they would be doing the amount of stuff, I've hoped for it. I've been man, they should do this. But this year, 2024, they fucking crushed it. Now 2025, I don't know.
How do you follow up this year, right? So
one thing and I just noticed the bottles over there. Kind of off topic, but the same thing. What's Wilderness Trail doing? Like, I haven't heard anything like out of
they're
posts
producing
online or anything like that. I have not seen anything.
3
from
core
Wilderness Trail.
lineup products, and that's about it.
That's it, right? There's nothing.
Yeah, well, every year they'll release a 1-year-older bottled in bond.
Yes, yeah.
Right, and then otherwise they're just kind
core
of producing
products.
core and helping to support Campari.
Campari went from that being their top, like Campari was going to make that like their luxury brand, and that was going to be their highfalutin, like craft, like, you know, we're not going to cut, but they're like, you know, we're going to cut allocations to states and we're going to do all this stuff and it's going to be high tier. And then they seen that people didn't really, and then this is no offense, I like Wilderness Trail, but this no offense gets pat and shame, but then they seen the public gave zero shits about paying more money for a craft brand. You know, they don't want to pay $70-$80 for a 4-year product. So they took Wild Turkey and elevated it in every way possible. And Wild Turkey is one of my favorite distilleries.
Yeah.
And this year, I have not had a single new product. Like, I have not purchased one. I've not found a Russell's 15. I've not gotten a single Rick House. I didn't get a Master's Keep.
Didn't we crack one over here? Was that this year?
The Master's Keep?
Yeah.
If that was this year, it'd been early this year. But it was last year's release.
Yeah.
The Voyage.
Yes.
But
I couldn't remember when we did that. We could have heard on that one.
It's hard for me to pay. I paid $100, you know, 2 years ago for the Russell's 13, and then now the 15 years, $250 to $300, and Master's Keep's $350 to $400, and the single Rick is $300. Like and I get it. People pay it, and the stuff is worth that money.
Yeah.
But just not to me. And they're a company, and I mean, I'm so happy they're doing great and that shit's selling. But them and Jim Beam were those brands who were like, you know, I would love to see older stuff and I'd pay for it, but they've made themselves so scarce, whereas Beam has done a good job of making everything available to anyone. If you can't afford it, you can get a bottle. I don't have to hunt for an old Granddad 16. I know I can go to the distillery right now and get one.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go get a Russell's 15 right now, I could probably maybe find one at the distillery, but it's like, you know, 25% more expensive than if I found it at Liquor Barn. So.
All right, guys, we should probably jump back over to the whiskey. Who went first on the note? Did you go first on the note?
I did.
All right, what about the palate and finish on this one?
Palate, fresh linden, powdered sugar, honey, red berries. I have no freaking clue as a guess. Is that the same one, your honey finish that we had at at work? I don't think it's that. I'm going to go with the Smoke Wagon. As a shot in the dark, I don't know. It's probably going to be the fucking medley.
What number is your glass? Just so I got that.
12. I have no idea.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'll say the Smoke Wagon.
Can we ask questions? Okay, what's the proof on the medley?
86.
What's the proof on the honey?
It's 112.
115.1.
Yeah.
You don't have the Bell Mead because I do. I will stake my reputation.
Because it's so thick and textured.
I will stake.
Well, I didn't get honey out of this, but I know it's not Smoke Wagon, and I know it's not the Buffalo Trace. So
I pinned you as the old medley.
that's what I think I've got.
So we'll 50-50 split between the Smoke Wagon and medley.
There's surely to God, there's no way this is Smoke Wagon.
I don't know. Here, let's.
Wait, what number? Hold on a second.
I got number 8.
You got number 8, Philip?
Yeah.
All right. So, Matt, what number were you? I'm sorry, I didn't.
I am number 9, and I have the Bell Mead. I'm calling the Bell Mead.
All right. So we need to get those answers. So you guys need to.
Well, what do you have, Mark?
What? Oh, yeah. Wait. Matt's got the Bell Mead. Philip, you think you've got the old medley?
Yes.
I think Philip has the old medley.
Well, then that means I've got the BT single barrel, right?
What do you think you have it, or
Well,
what do you? How do you feel?
What's the
Tell
proof
us about
on
it.
90.
Talk to us about it.
It's got. It does have those Buffalo Trace notes to it, but it almost drinks higher proof to me than 90 proof, and it's sweet. It's very sweet, which kind of surprised me. But now,
Could it be the Smoke Wagon?
I don't think it would be the Smoke Wagon.
I think I've got the Smoke Wagon.
I think so too.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think mine's the BT. So that's what I'm going to go with. So you guys keep talking about something because since we're at the end, we got to get the answers now. Right?
Yeah.
I forgot to.
I'll tell you, I think it was an episode we did this year. What kind of disappointed me with different things was I brought the chicken cock from Heaven Hill, and then someone had, or not chicken cock, fighting cock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And how they had dropped the age on that.
3 year from 6 years.
Yeah, and then the we did the old Granddad 14, the 114.
Oh, that's right. And we compared the new version
the
of
newest
old.
one to the older one, and
Right.
it did not taste anything
Right.
the same.
Yeah.
It felt like they had lowered the age on that too.
Well, lowered the age or lowered the tiers at the warehouse.
Yeah.
So
But the flavors were definitely not consistent.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
So those were two things that
you know what
stood out
has
this
made
year.
me happy though is I've heard that the 7-year Heaven Hill bottle and bond picks are hitting the shelves.
That's good.
So
Oh, yeah,
and that they're going to
yeah.
retail for around like $55-$60, and I am excited for that. Now, that's great but also sad because I loved the Elijah Craig barrel proof picks for 94 proof for like $30. But
Yeah.
I the last few times I've gone to Heaven Hill and helped people pick a barrel, 94 proof wasn't even on the table, so they were only letting you do barrel proof. But Heaven Hill's opened up to larceny barrel proof picks. They're aged between 6 and 9 years. They're doing the Rittenhouse picks.
Those are lovely.
They are.
I love them.
I scoop between when they started those like a couple years ago. I've probably got 6 or 7 at the house. They're great.
Didn't we drank one of those when we did the show with Connor, right?
With Connor, yeah.
Yeah, at a Bourbon Con.
Yeah.
Right?
What I would like to see is old granddad picks. I would like to see 114 proof
Wouldn't we all?
old granddad picks. Put them out there because Knob Creek picks have gone up. They're about 10%. They're about $60-$65 now on average. I'd like to see $40, $45, 114 proof old granddad pick because Turkey has axed Kentucky Spirit from picks. It's now only in single barrels. So they're always single barrels, but it's only a shelf product. No picks of those, and they brought out Wild Turkey 101 picks, which is basically what Kentucky Spirit was, but the age is now down, so you're not getting a 7 to 10 year, you're getting a 6 to 8 year pick. So I think that's a good bean could swoop in, kind of hit that mid-tier $40, $50 market again.
I was happy to see that some of the prices are, even of like the the big name brand stuff, some of the prices are starting to trend down.
Yeah. All right, are you guys ready?
Ready.
The final reveal.
I've got the final answers here. Chad,
Mark.
you had number 12.
I had number 12.
You said Smoke Wagon.
I did.
You were wrong.
I'm wrong.
Yes, it was Old Medley.
Oh, shit.
I
I'm
was wrong on Phillips then.
Phillips got Smoke Wagon.
Matt, you had number 9. You said that was the Bell Mead Honey.
Yep.
Matt went 3 for 3 tonight. He got it, man. He nailed it. Philip, you had number 8. You said Old Medley.
Yeah.
That was Buffalo Trace.
Oh, so you had the Smoke Wagon.
And me, I said Buffalo Trace, and I actually had the Smoke Wagon.
So here's what's fun about this is
We suck. Matt's great, and we suck.
here's what's fun about this is 2 of the pours I brought, and I got them wrong by guessing the alternate thing each round. But it's wild how this is a 12-year-old bourbon. I don't think this drinks like a 12-year-old bourbon by any means. I do not.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I believe it's a pick that I've had for several years. But I guess Smoke Wagon, because that's 45-year-old bourbon. This drinks like a 45-year-old bourbon. This retails for $70-$80. Clearly not worth $70-$80. I think Matt got lucky with that Bell Mead Honey though, because that's a very unique profile.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got.
I think I got lucky with the Oloroso Rye.
Yeah, no kidding.
We probably should have. I was gonna say we probably should do no finishes, but I also kind of like the idea of like maybe there's 1 or 2 finishes in the
Sure.
mix.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
It's immense.
I should have brought something a little less subtle.
Or
a little more subtle,
I almost
excuse
brought
me.
finish, but I'm like, did we make an unofficial rule that we shouldn't do
We
finish?
did. Maybe next year we can do that,
No,
or maybe we could do a separate show with finished.
Finished
could.
blondes, that would be pretty good.
that would be.
We could do like a whole show about finished. Yeah, rather than
Yeah, talk about watching all of us go 0 for 3.
Hey, I like that. But I
Okay.
mean, this is a good spread. I think everyone.
Which is that last year's Smoke Wagon? The
No, this
Halloween, or
is
that
the Halloween from this year.
from this year. It's really good.
Let me try some. I stand behind this. Smoke Wagon has 6 or 7 products in their portfolio.
Yeah.
The best ones are the 2 cheapest ones. This one and then the Uncut the Younger, which
I'm
has got
telling
a
you,
new
man.
name now.
I was like, I would really like that one. I enjoyed it.
I've never tried their young, so
Yeah.
I'll taste a little bit here. 'Cause I've never had that.
So if anyone wants that Old Medley 12-year, I brought it to leave. So if you want fresh, linen,
Yeah, if you want some fabric
Downy.
softener,
You want some Downy, fresh Downy? I've already had
a
some.
pick
so.
by
And I hate to say
Snuggle
that.
the Bear.
but that's also the problem. It's with single barrels is it is
Sure.
it is what it is.
You get what you get, right? All right, guys, we're at the end of the round here. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Philip?
It's been a great year. Sorry I missed a few of the crew episodes. Hopefully next year will be a little smoother. And
all right, man.
I'm looking forward to 25.
Yeah, man. Matt? Wait, let me throw it to Chad because Matt's the co-host. So he always.
I'm glad you're finally getting recognized, Matthew. I can't wait for our first episode in 2024 where we make our guesses and predictions. I've already started that.
Awesome.
In my phone. Hopefully Stacey is getting to see the past, present, and future of bad bourbon decisions in her life. With all her Scrooging. Had fun. Glad we could all be here tonight. Just happy to see everyone and, see Matt outside of work.
Awesome. Matt, what about you, man?
What a great time. Love this episode. Love getting the crew back together. 12 Blinds of Christmas. So much fun. Thanks for making it a good time, guys. To our listeners, thanks for sticking by us another year. We appreciate it. Hope you had a great holiday, whatever it is you all celebrate at home. Thanks so much for letting us be a part of it. If you are listening to this at Christmas time, if it's the middle of July, then
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas in July.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Happy 4th of July to you all. But again, thanks to all of you for listening to us. Without it, it would just be Mark and I talking to each other. So we appreciate having an audience.
Which we get to do like 30 minutes before each episode. Just me and Matt hanging out, just kind of looking at each other, talking. We're not really talkative amongst ourselves. So we just kind of sit here. So fortunately, our listeners.
Don't let him lie to you. There's a lot of talk that happens off the microphone.
Oh, man. Well, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. We had a great time tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Had a great year. Sorry that Stacey was not here.
I'm not.
Oh, man. I sort of miss her, but anyway, hopefully she'll be able to join us next year. Philip, hopefully you'll be able to be back as well. But it's a lot of fun, man. Thank you guys for doing this. This is great. Great way to close out the year. Couldn't ask for a better way to do that. So we are the Bourbon Life Podcast presented by Liquor Barn. We appreciate their support and the support of all of our sponsors. Could not bring you this show every week without all of our great sponsors. So thank you all for all that. To our listeners, thank you guys for tuning in, whatever time of day it is, like Matt always says, morning, noon, or night, whenever it is you get your Bourbon Life fix. We appreciate you taking the time to do it. We know there are a lot of bourbon podcasts out there. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at The Bourbon Life. You can also join our private Facebook group, The Bourbon Lifers. We'd love to have you in there. Also, don't forget our good friend, Mike, Big Tex, as Matt likes to call him, Big Chief.
Old Big Chief.
Old Big Chief, drinking the old tub.
Drinking the old tub.
Big whiskey fan. Has his own podcast called The Whiskey Trip that comes out under our umbrella every Tuesday. So check that out. He's also on Instagram and Facebook as The Whiskey Trip. So please give him a follow and a like. Listen to his podcast and give him support. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up. Send us home with our tagline, which is, may your glasses always be full and may you keep on living the bourbon life.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. Our mission at the Bourbon Life is simple: to share our passion for all things bourbon with you every week. And we'd really love to hear your thoughts on how we're doing. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at The Bourbon Life. You can also contact us by email at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. And you can always find us on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a moment, we'd love it if you would rate us and give us a review. So until next week, we hope your glass is always full and that you keep on living the bourbon life.
Welcome to the kitchen table at James B. Beam Distilling Company, where every visit is a celebration of tradition and flavor. Did you know that the kitchen table is nestled right within the heart of the distillery? That's right. You can experience the essence of James B. Beam's legacy while savoring their delectable dishes. Join them every Wednesday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a culinary journey like no other. Planning a special event? Let the kitchen table be your host, creating unforgettable memories for you and your guests. And don't miss their exclusive Behind the Beam tour and monthly Claremont Supper Club events, which will feature the 2024 Distillers Share releases at the November event. For more information and reservations, visit beamdistilling.com. The kitchen table at James B. Beam Distilling Company. Come as a friend, leave as family.